Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, covering confidence, dating, relationships, self-help, confidence again, so much more. So subscribe and hit the bell icon now. So how do you know who is the one on dating sites? How do you know who your soulmate is when you're doing dating and you're on dating apps and dating sites? Well, if you haven't kept up with this channel, then you might not know, but I met a beautiful Indian guy on Facebook dating very recently, and he is coming to my city this weekend, staying in a hotel and spending the weekend with me, which is so nice. And I met him, like I said, on Facebook dating, right? And usually I don't get any luck on Facebook dating. Like I have luck as in the sense I have dates, but every guy I've had for a date since I've been on there from that site, from Facebook dating, has lied to me. Everyone I've had an in-person date with. So that hasn't been a good experience for me. And they didn't really take that much time to get to know me. Like they didn't do much video calling. We did do some video calling, but not that much. So I'm really pleased that the last couple of days, well, ever since like Sunday, we've been like video calling like a lot, like every day, mostly at night. So that's why I haven't live streamed for the last couple of nights. So I went into Holland and Barrett today and I went to get some chocolate because my mum gave me some money to get some sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free, allergy-free chocolate from the health shop for Easter. And as I was going through the chocolate, there was a guy who I got to help me who worked in the store because I needed help with some ingredients. They were really small writing and I wasn't sure what some of the ingredients were. So he said that even he can't read it because some of it's small and smudged. So he was stood next to me and he had this iPad and he was reading the ingredients and he was spending a long time with me. But as I was talking to him, he was blushing and I got the impression that he was really attracted to me. The guy was British, as far as I know, and he only looked like about 19, 20 years old. You know, something like that, maybe 21 at most. And so I didn't usually get attracted to British guys, but there was something that happened where I clearly thought he must be really attracted to me because he was spending a lot of time with me, looking at me, seeing that I was seeing the way I was talking. He seemed to really like it, and he was like kind of smiling and blushing. Guys don't usually blush unless they like a girl, so that was a really weird experience for me because obviously I've met this beautiful Indian guy on Facebook dating that I'm really already seriously serious about, right? And so I am hyper romantic asexual and I do get attracted to multiple guys at once. And I have told him this, but I only want to be in a relationship with one guy, right? And I personally don't experience any platonic attraction. And I can get asexually attracted to guys. It's not usually British guys, it's usually foreign guys. It's usually Indian guys in their early to mid 20s mostly. So that's mostly who I get attracted to. So I was quite surprised I had any attraction like for this British guy at all, but there seemed to be some kind of chemistry stuff going on between me and him a bit. But I felt really weird about this because it's like, well, I am dating and more with the Indian guy. Like he's already clearly made it known that he's committed to me before we've even got into an official relationship. And I've already told him I'm serious about him. So it feels weird. And I know to most people it's natural to get attracted to lots of people, but I feel guilty about it because I feel like I shouldn't be doing that or shouldn't be feeling that way. Because you know, I already like someone else. So that was a really weird experience. And I went out the store and I'm thinking, I sure he must have been really attracted to me because I could feel his energy and I could feel it by the way he was smiling at me and blushing, you know, and spending it. It was kind of like because we were in the same area, you know, physicality together. And it's really weird. He picked up a product which is to do with a certain birth certificate age. And I'm like, oh, that's for like older people. And I didn't tell him my birth certificate age, but he was like, oh, well, you can try this product even if it's for a different age because it's good not to discriminate. So I wasn't expecting him to say that, which I did think was a good thing. But yeah, it's kind of weird. And he was like thin and stuff. And I like thin guys. And he had an earring, but he reminded me of the Indian guy because the Indian guy has an earring. But I don't usually get attracted to British guys, so it's really weird. And I don't like the fact of to have some attraction, I think, going on with him. But I got quite a lot of that from him, right? But I really like the Indian guy, right? So I want to say to you now that just because I had some attraction, or there was some attraction from him to me, or something in terms of attraction there, right? Attraction is not what makes a happy, healthy, sustaining, fulfilling relationship. Attraction isn't the same as love. And I really want you to remember this when you're going on dating sites and dating apps. If you're looking for the one, the person that's ultimately going to be good for you in a relationship, and your soulmate, if you don't believe in soulmates or you don't believe in the one, the best person for you, right? You don't want to be going just by aesthetic attraction or any type of chemical stuff going on, right? Because that isn't love, that isn't commitment, and that isn't really anything but some attraction, which is like a chemical reaction. That's it. And you have to remember that. You have to remember and put things back into perspective, because when you're on dating sites and dating apps, you can just be swiping. And a lot of people like people aesthetically. They like people by their face. I mean, on Badoo, I used to get, as you know, tons of likes regularly, like over 99 likes, and that's just by looking at my face. They didn't even read my bio, which obviously I did a lot of I did a lot of videos. I used my shorts as well, I think, on that. It's all to do with my looks, which is great. They like my looks, but it's not gonna be any good for a loving, caring, committed, sustained relationship. And if all they're doing is looking at your looks and they're not paying attention to your bio, what does that say about them? It's quite shallow, isn't it? So what I'm saying is, even if you do get attracted to different people, which I personally don't particularly like feeling, but I can't help it sometimes, then just because you have that, you always have to remember the person that you choose has got to have overall characteristics that are good. It doesn't matter what they look like aesthetically if they've got a horrible personality, right? Or if they're not compatible. So always when you're looking on dating sites, dating apps, make sure you pick the most compatible person in multiple aspects, not just aesthetic attraction. A lot of people stray because they're not focusing on the main relationship. They're not focusing on any problems or issues. They're not dealing with them. They're too busy looking at aesthetically at someone else. Yes, they can be chemistry with you and someone else, but the whole point of chemistry is it's just a chemical reaction. It doesn't mean it's that person if you got with them and left the other person, or if you didn't go with the other person, got with that person in the first place, or if you ever encountered that person, it doesn't mean to say it would be a healthy or happy connectional relationship. There's nothing else but aesthetic attraction. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you're looking for the one, the soulmate, you've got to take into account the whole person, like a holistic view of the person, right? So yes, you do need to like their looks. It's really important. I have to say that the Indian guy on Facebook dating is the most gorgeous Indian guy I've ever seen in my life. He's stunning, beautiful. To me, he's better looking than any guy in any Bollywood movie, any Indian guy I've ever kissed, any Indian guy I've ever seen in my life. He is so stunningly beautiful. He's exactly my type, and he is gorgeous. I mean, I look at him and it's just like he's come out of a movie scene, or a model. He's like a model out of a magazine or something. He is so gorgeous, and I haven't even met him in person yet. So the good thing about him is he is really helping me to feel secure before I've even got into an official relationship with him, which is probably likely going to happen, most likely. And I don't want to tempt fate, but yeah, so he said, like he says something like, "Oh, I'm just yours," and that's even before we got into an official relationship. So I just think that's really, really good, and that is a sign you want to look for. You want to look for someone who's already talking like they're in a relationship with you, plus giving you the commitment of one before they get into it. But you have to know they're going to get into one with you, because it's no good if they've got all that and they're just not actually doing the commitment part, right? So you do need that as well, because some people act like they're in a relationship unless they've actually asked you to be their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their partner, wife, husband, or whatever. It doesn't mean anything in that way. They can just be stringing you along. They can just be comfortable, but without being committed. So you have to make sure that doesn't last for a long period of time. Some people like to date for a while, but within 3 months, people should know. And I believe, according to what I hear quite a lot from my research, guys usually know pretty soon. I think it's within 3 weeks whether that woman is someone, for example, they want to marry and spend the rest of their life with. So I don't know how true that is, but you don't want to be in the no man's land zone where you're both acting like you're in a relationship, but you're not actually doing the commitment. Now, for me, it's hard in the sense that I have been single for a lot of years. So when I'm thinking about the Indian guy, I'm not really thinking about that. I'm just thinking, my God, this is the guy that I've dreamed of. Like, when I say dreamed, I've thought about, I've intuitively known I'm meant to be with an Indian guy for like 10 years of my life, since 2014. We're now in 2024. And I've described him on this channel on my Asexual Perspectives book. And this guy is like, he's walked out of that. Well, he is that guy. That's what it seems like at the moment. I don't want to tempt fate, I don't want to say stuff in case something goes wrong, I guess. I'm not thinking it's going to go wrong, but you know what I mean? It's a big thing to say that. But I do feel that right now. And the thing about this Indian guy is he's got a lot of qualities that I like, which is important for dating. The one person for you, the soulmate. Some people believe in lots of the ones, but if you are thinking of just having one, a monogamous relationship, you've got to make sure that they're compatible in multiple areas. So you like their looks, you do have attraction and some chemistry with them. You might have a lot with them, and that you want to be physically close to them. Like, obviously for asexuals, there's different degrees of that, because some asexuals like me are sex repulsed, some are sex neutral, some are sex positive, some like a lot of kissing and cuddling, some like nude cuddling, others like me don't. Some like touching, some like masturbation, but without sex. Yeah, I'm really like not going down that road, but you know what I mean. And some asexuals, they don't really like to be touched that much. They might like cuddling, they don't like kissing, or they might like a peck on the cheek. Some other asexuals a touch of burst. So you know what I mean. There's all different degrees. So you have to find someone who's compatible as much as possible with your degree of comfortability in terms of physicality. Like, are they going to be comfortable with your level of physicality, and vice versa? So for example, I'm super into kissing. Like, I'm a hyper romantic and a hyper kisser, so I have to have a guy who's up for being kissed a lot, or who wants to be kissed a lot, who enjoys it, who loves it as much as I do, because then it's going to be really good, because it's going to be like really fireworks, electric, magic, special, and all the rest of it. So yeah. And you've also got to have multiple other things. You've got to have someone who has beautiful character traits, right? Good quality character traits. Because the problem with a lot of people on dating sites is they may have some looks, they may have some charm, even some of them. They may say things they think you want to hear, which is not a good thing, right? But just because they have certain looks, maybe you do have some chemistry with some, doesn't mean to say they're right for you. You've got to take into account, does this person understand you? When you talk to them, are they listening to you? Are they attentive towards your needs? How are they at conflict resolution? Now, I used to think if you had conflict, like arguments, disagreements, difficult negative emotions sometimes crop up in relationships, I used to think, because of my programming and conditioning for years, that is a really bad thing. You should have no conflict, you should have no arguments, you should have no disagreements, and something's really wrong if you do. But I've since discovered that actually healthy relationships are based on if you can have good conflict resolution. When things like shit hits the fan and things go wrong, how does the person you're with deal with that with you? Do they make a safe space for you to express your feelings and express your emotions without judging you in a bad way? And do they allow you to feel like you can tell them anything, that you're angry or you're sad or you're unhappy? You know what I mean? If it's a negative emotion, do they allow you to express negative emotions, not just the positive ones? Because if someone's trying to suppress and repress negative emotions or avoid them, this is not the type of person you want to be in a relationship with. because down the line it's just going to cause so much resentment, so much of build up of negativity, so many problems and issues, and you're not really going to be living your true authentic life. Because I've been single for a lot of years, I need someone who's really accepting of me as I am, and I need to do that with them, you know. And you've got to have people who are willing to learn from each other. The thing I like about the Indian guy as well, he has some flexibility over his habits, like what he's done for years on his own, for example. And so I really like that about him. And obviously I do have always an inkling to self-improve myself. So it's good for me to, like, obviously listen to him, and if I need to make any improvements myself, you know. And you've got to pick someone who's got really nice character traits. So far, I love the fact this Indian guy does really listen to me. He uses caring, kind language with me. He does have very good conflict resolution skills. I'm talking about really good, healthy skills that I haven't seen in many guys in this entire world. Like, there's a lot of unhealthy people going around. So if I've got a problem and I'm unhappy about something, or angry or peed off or whatever, I can go and tell him. And of course, it doesn't make him feel good that I'm telling him that, because if it did make him feel good, he wouldn't be the right person for me. Because you don't want someone who's unempathetic. You don't want someone who just thinks it's funny or something like that. But he's very empathetic, kind, and caring, and he's actually reciting my own feelings back to me. So that shows a really good depth of understanding and listening skills. And it's like he understands my mind, and that's really good. I mean, I have got good conflict resolution skills with my best friend as well. We haven't had many difficulties, but the difficulties we have had, he's like sorted them out with me, made sure they're all sorted out, and then that's it, to move on, because he doesn't want any bad feeling between me and him, because obviously me and him are best friends. We've been best friends for years. And so he's a really healthy guy as well. There aren't many healthy guys in the world. My best friend, is my best friend, not romantic together. He's into guys. I'll make that clear. But but with the Indian guy, there's a lot of good things I like about him. He seems very calm. Like, I was upset last night, but I'm not anymore. But I was, because he fell asleep when he was meant to be calling me and didn't set an alarm, basically. Either he didn't set an alarm or the alarm didn't go off, one or the other. Anyway, I was angry, really pissed off for ages, and he really was great, because I told him, and he was really sorry about he's not getting much sleep, to be fair to him. I'm not getting that much sleep because we've been video calling, and it's our working schedules are out of sync, so it causes both tiredness issues. But obviously at night I'm a lot more awake than he is. He usually goes to sleep between 10:30, 11, I think it is, between 10 and 11 max. So he's not used to going to sleep late, and he's not getting much sleep because he gets up at really early. So I already thought to myself, he's probably fallen asleep, and so he can't take my call. But the night before, I just phoned him up and he already had his phone on, so I woke him up so I could speak to him anyway. But this particular time, I couldn't talk to him at all. So, as I do have an anxious personality type, and I have still got some anxiety, which I have to keep working on, I did kind of bombard him with messages that I wasn't happy. But I think, from my point of view, I felt let down, and like a person was unreliable, right? But I understand what happened. And, he was sharing his point of view, and he did it really well, but he was really kind and caring, and said, I understand how you feel, and you must have a load of emotions going through your mind and stuff, which I did. So he seems to really understand my anxiety, which is good. It took me ages to calm down from that, though. And it was like 3 hours before I forgave him. That's a long time. But, I don't want to just forgive someone just like that, because I don't want the behavior happening again. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do need to make sure that if you're getting into a relationship with someone, or you're dating someone, that if they've done something that upsets you, they listen to what you say, they apologize, and then they correct the behavior. It's the behavior correction that's really important, because if they don't do that, then they're not really taking you seriously, not really caring that much. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to look out for that, because you don't want to end up in a relationship with someone who keeps repeating something like that. Because if that did, they'd just be unreliable, and you wouldn't be able to trust them very much, and they wouldn't, when some other guy or person, whatever gender you're attracted to, can be there for you on time, willingly, able to do that, and they're not bothering. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look very good. So you need to obviously take into account the person holistically and think of all their character traits and the way they deal with conflict resolution. You have to remember no one's perfect as well. So you're never going to get a perfect person. So you have to accept the fact that they have got some flaws, will make some mistakes, as no doubt I probably will sometimes. And you have to be able to like understand that in the great scheme of things, how bad is that mistake, you know? I mean, the thing that is bad for me is the reliability and trust. It's not really about the fact he didn't take my call. It's about the reliability and trust. That's the actual issue behind it. But I'm good now. He sorted it out. He made sure he stayed on the phone with me until we were completely sorted out. So I have to give him loads of credit for that, because not many guys can do that. And he's very calm. When I say I'm angry, he's very calm. And that's good, because it makes me feel really safe. And so if you're looking for the one or soulmate or some really good person, you need to be able to have someone who's great at dealing with conflict resolution, who'll listen to your point of view, who'll share their point of view, which is still very valid, you know, like he's really tired because he's been like, you know, like not getting hardly any sleep because he's been busy talking to me, and that's kind of mucked his whole sleep cycle up, and he fell asleep on the bed. It's a genuine mistake, you know. So you've got to take both people's accounts into consideration. But you know what I mean, he's kind and caring and understanding. He's very loving. He sends me lovely messages. He's always messaging me. He's telling me, he's always thinking about me. So he's making me feel really secure, and that's really important, because obviously on dating sites and dating apps, guys can be, you know, literally having loads of women in their inbox all the time, and you don't know whether they're seeing or dating someone else at the same time as you. You don't know. You got to trust that they're not if they say they're not, or if, you know what I mean. So you know, if the person's making you feel secure, which this guy does make me feel as secure as possible, then that is a really good thing, because you do not want to be in a relationship with someone who's unstable and making you feel insecure, and who, you know, is making you question how he feels about you. This guy does not make me question how he feels about me, and I'm not even in an official relationship with him yet. So I've always said on this channel, like, the person who's a real person, you should not ever make you question where you stand with them. They shouldn't ever cause you confusion. You know, the difficulty is, you know, he's got his visa runs out this year, so he's got to get another sponsorship job, or a sponsorship job, should I say, to stay in the UK. That's the only thing I'm really freaking out about and anxiety induced for. But I guess, like, you know, if you're going back to attraction to other people, I think sometimes that can be a built-in safety mechanism as well. It's like, oh, if I'm attracted to another guy and he's attracted to me, it means if anything did happen with this guy, for example, the Indian guy I'm dating, seeing serious about already, then, you know what I mean? It's always like there's always going to be someone else that's attracted to me, and vice versa. But like I said, attraction doesn't make a healthy, sustainable, committed relationship. It's just attraction. You've got to have the whole package. This guy has got beautiful looks. He seems to be very kind, caring. I've seen empathy from him. I've seen he's an emotional guy. I've seen he likes to share secrets and stuff, which obviously I won't go into. Secrets are secrets. You know I've shared some stuff on this channel, but I have a level of confidentiality that I keep between me and him, you know, because I care about him deeply, right? And so, yeah, and so I feel that he is my soulmate, actually, that I've been looking for since 2014. I hope I'm right about that. I really do, because I've had that feeling about Indian guys before, but this is a bit different, I would say, because for one, he reciprocates, which is always a good thing. You've got to have reciprocity. So the other person needs to feel exactly the same way as you feel about them, because it's not going to work. It's all going to be one-sided. And both people need to be putting as much time, energy, and effort in. Now, from what he's told me to do with past and things, he is a guy who likes to put time, energy, and effort into a relationship. And that is really, really important, because, you know, you've got to get a match. And most guys on dating sites, and no doubt women or whatever gender you're into, are not really willing to put the time, energy, and effort into a serious committed relationship, because they don't really want a serious committed relationship. They don't want commitment. And so if you're that one who's putting time, energy, and effort in, and you're there caring more about them than they are about you, there's a huge imbalance. It's a very insecure, slippery slope. And really, the relationship's doomed long term. You can't stay in a sustainable relationship, because that ain't sustainable. Do you know what I'm saying? And so you need to find someone who's the one, the soulmate, who understands you emotionally, who understands you on a physical level, who understands you on a soul level. So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And you need to have a very similar match. You need to have hobbies and interests that are same as well. I don't think having completely different hobbies and interests is going to be very good. I personally love the fact that he likes aquariums like I do. He likes theme parks. He likes going to cinema. He likes eating out. He will no doubt like kissing because he's needs to. I was going to say he's not. Luckily for me, he's not been with loads of women, so I can train him in how I like to be kissed, which is amazing. You know how much I like kissing, and I feel I can talk to him about anything. So I think you've got to have someone who you feel like you can talk to about anything and everything, share your secrets, share vulnerable moments with, feel completely safe with them. And also, he says such lovely stuff. He gives me feedback about my own behavior as well. So he'll be like, "Oh, I think you're a good speaker, but you're not listening to me at the moment." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I think he's probably right. My speaking skills are probably better than my listening skills, but I have worked on those over the years, so I'm a lot better than I was. And I do take a lot of what he says into consideration, but there's always room for improvement there with myself, which is important. So I like the fact he gives me feedback about my own behavior and about things that I can improve on. And he tells me, if he thinks I'm not listening to him good enough, he'll tell me. So he's not afraid to say things to me, which I think is really important. You've got to have that two-way, that he's not afraid to say anything to me. I'm not afraid to say anything to him, because you don't want to be having a situation where either of you is afraid to speak to the other person, especially about difficult emotions and things. So yeah, so you need to look for character traits like kindness. Like he's got kindness, he's got empathy, he's got he really cares. He loves animals, which is a really good thing. He's actually vegetarian, which is amazing. I'm not vegetarian, but I don't eat pork, lamb, or beef, so I have a preference for a guy who's a vegetarian, or same as me. He cares about his family, but he's still independent. I love that about him. So he won't be told completely what to do by his parents, and that's very rare for an Indian guy. So I'm very blessed to have come across him and got him in my life. And he seems really happy to see me. He smiles when he sees me. He calls me cute, which I really love, because he's not talking sexually, because most sexual guys are like, "Oh, you're so sexy and hot," which, yeah, I am, but you know what I mean? But I prefer to be called cute, because it's more of an asexual term, really. Cute or pretty or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it puts me at ease. He's not talked about sexual stuff at all with me. In fact, if I ever talk about kissing, because he's asking me what is different types of kissing and positions of kissing, and I said some others I know are more sexual, he's like really shy and blushing and stuff, and so he's not used to that. So I really like that about him, because I prefer a guy who's not really sexually inclined or not going after that, if you know what I mean. He doesn't identify as asexual. He identifies as straight, heteros. Well, he doesn't even know what heterosexual meant, but he identifies as straight, which is the same as heterosexual, which means sexually attracted to girls. Although, I said I'm straight, but I'm asexual. I'm attracted to guys, but not sexually. So, but he's really nice. He's very respectful. And if you're asexual, you need someone who respects your sexual boundaries, respects how, what you want to do and what you want done and how you want it done in terms of physicality. And so you need all that to be your soulmate in the one. So good characteristic traits, good looks, healthy communication, healthy conflict resolution, really kind, caring, loyal, faithful, empathetic, honest, sorts problems out there and then doesn't let them fester. You need someone who's good at organizing, managing time, ideally, as well, and hobbies and interests as well, and have complementary skills, and make sure you tell each other anything and everything that you need to, right? So I think all this is good. I see, like I described him just then, and it's wonderful. Anyway, so I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I'd love to know what you think of this video. Please comment in the comments below. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.